Breaking tonight, 2 members of the National Guard shot just steps from the White House.
I mean, they were ordered to be here. They didn't ask for anything like this.
The troops targeted in broad daylight the controversial deployment that had them patrolling the D.C. streets in the first place. Dozens dead and hundreds missing after a raging fire engulfed apartment buildings in Hong Kong.
It's quite difficult for us to enter the building.
The desperate search as people here in Canada wait for news of friends inside.
How about all those seniors? How about all those people who cannot run?
How the fire spread so fast, and could it happen here? And violent assaults on transit have more than doubled in the past 9 years in most of Canada's major cities.
How many times did he stab you?
Over 10. You know, this close to dying on the subway floor.
What the exclusive data reveals about your safety on public transit.
From CBC News, this is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault.
Thanks for joining us. Washington is on edge tonight after a gunman not far from the White House shot 2 members of the National Guard, leaving them in critical condition and leaving America's volatile, hyper-partisan politics even more tense. Officials called the shooting targeted. The motive still unclear. The suspect wounded but expected to survive. When Donald Trump sent the National Guard into Washington, D.C., it was controversial from the start. A federal judge recently ruled the deployment illegal. But now the Trump administration is sending in more troops. Katie Simpson now on how the attack unfolded. Washington, D.C. police call it an ambush.
First responders raced through the streets, making their way to the chaotic scene just a couple of blocks from the White House. It was 2:15 in the afternoon when police say National Guard troops patrolling a metro station were shot in a targeted attack by a lone gunman.
The suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members.
Authorities fired back, shooting the suspect, who was aggressively apprehended. As he was subdued, troops rushed to the side of the wounded Guard members. In the pile of glass there, you can see the emergency first aid for one of the 2 National Guard members. An air ambulance lands in between historic buildings as the victims were rushed to hospital.
I was in the Uber, I heard boom, boom, twice.
Stacy Walters was driving past as she saw people running for their lives, including young kids.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to cry. I've never been so close to something like that, let alone it's the holidays. There's little children outside. It's broad daylight.
National Guard troops have been patrolling Washington since August as part of President Donald Trump's controversial efforts to make the U.S. Capitol safer. There has been plenty of public debate with fierce arguments on both sides about whether the deployment is necessary.
I mean, I feel terrible for the National Guardmen. I mean, they were ordered to be here. They didn't ask for anything like this.
Trump called it an act of terror, identifying the suspect as a 29-year-old from Afghanistan, blaming the previous Biden administration for allowing him into the country.
We must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country.
Trump's defense secretary announcing another 500 troops will now be deployed to the city.
That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital.
The suspect, police say, was armed with a handgun. Authorities are now searching the area for video of the attack. And right here in the heart of Washington, D.C., with so many high-profile buildings, there should be plenty of that video.
And Katie, this National Guard deployment in D.C., it has been controversial, and a judge had recently said it was illegal.
Yeah, it's at the heart of another high-profile court battle. The Trump administration filed new paperwork just hours after the shooting. They want the National Guard to stay put. As someone who lives here in D.C., you see the National Guard all the time. They're highly visible. They're often near public transit. And as controversial as it may have been at first, as time has passed, it's not as shocking. That said, though, their deployment here, it's highly unusual. And again, it remains controversial.
All right, that is Katie Simpson in Washington. Now to another major breaking story we're tracking. Right now, a battle continues in Hong Kong between firefighters and a horrific inferno that has torn through an 8-tower apartment complex. Local officials say at least 44 people are dead and more than 200 still missing. Lisa Shing now on the deadliest fire Hong Kong has seen in decades.
As flames shot up in the sky, onlookers and residents of the Wong Fuk housing complex in disbelief. I don't even know how I feel right now, says Harry Chung. I don't know where I'm going to sleep. The deadly inferno broke out mid-afternoon, burning through the night at the densely populated housing estate in Hong Kong's Tai Po district. 8 towers, each more than 30 stories tall. Home to about 4,800 residents, Adler soon narrowly escaped.
The fire alarm never goes off. I only can smell that because my windows were not sealed. One of it was opened.
One man says his wife was still inside. Another left his dog. I am devastated, says Jason Kong. There are so many neighbors and friends. As the blaze engulfed at least 7 buildings, some 800 firefighters responded, rescuing dozens who were sent to hospital. Some didn't make it. Rescue efforts continued through the night, fire crews saving a baby and a senior. Still, as of Thursday morning, more than 200 remain unaccounted for. The search a challenge.
The temperature inside the buildings concerned are very high, so it's quite difficult for us to enter the building.
One firefighter is among the dead, underscoring the danger. About 900 people spent the night in shelters, many with nothing to return to. Imagine a home gone, burnt. Anyone would be heartbroken, says nearby resident Shirley Chan. Officials say styrofoam, which is flammable, was used to seal the windows. The building's under renovation, sheathed in bamboo scaffolding, which the city has been phasing out for safety reasons. And while authorities have not come forward with a cause, police have charged 3 construction company executives with manslaughter in connection to the fire. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
The devastation of that fire is being felt here in Canada as people with ties to Hong Kong wait for news of their loved ones. Tanya Fletcher spoke with a Vancouver woman who grew up in the complex that burned.
It's just sad because that's the building I lived in throughout my teenagers' year.
Yuki Chun moved from Hong Kong to Vancouver 3 years ago. But for much of her childhood, she lived on the top floor of the high-rise complex that became an inferno.
It's a really old estate, so basically people live there, they're mostly either senior or they're not rich people as well.
Just days before the fire, friends sent her this photo showing construction outside the building. She says her heart stopped when she saw images emerge of her old home going up in flames. Chan still has 8 friends who live in the complex and told harrowing stories of escape.
My friend told me that there wasn't actually any alarm. She just smelled some smoke. She opened the door, realized the whole corridor was filled with smoke, and then she grabbed her dog, just go down.
But one person she knows is unaccounted for. This was the last update she heard.
She was hiding in the washroom, no water from the tap already, just waiting for rescue.
Fortunately that my family didn't get hurt.
Paul Chow is a former district councillor of the area, now in Toronto. He too used to live in that apartment complex. His parents and sisters still do. He says the weather could very well have played a role.
Now in Hong Kong it's winter and the wind is very strong, so it will bring the fire to everywhere.
A number of challenges, especially for fighting a high-rise fire.
Canadian firefighters say building codes here, which can include things like sprinklers, multiple exits, and smoke control measures, are meant to stop a fire in its tracks.
We do have robust systems in place to limit the fire development, the exposure, and the growth with all of those.
As questions of why and how are investigated, those here in Canada with personal connections sit and worry, watch and wait for any updates. Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Vancouver.
In Toronto, one man is in custody after a transit employee at a downtown subway station was stabbed. Police say it happened early this afternoon at Dundas Station. Both the victim and suspect were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. In a statement, the head of Toronto's Transit Commission called it an unacceptable act. Well, the CBC News investigation finds violence on transit systems in Canada's biggest cities is rising. The full story is coming up in about 20 minutes. Tonight, the Prime Minister is promising new supports for two industries hit hard by U.S. tariffs. Ashley Burke shows us what's to come for steel and lumber producers, as Mark Carney was again questioned about his communication with Donald Trump.
A day after admitting he made a mistake dismissing questions about Donald Trump, the Prime Minister offering new aid to industries he may have offended.
We must protect our workers and our industries who are most exposed to U.S. tariffs.
Mark Carney further limiting the amount of foreign steel coming into Canada at a lower tariff rate, offering another $1 billion in loans and support to the lumber sector, and vowing to bring down shipping costs.
We will make it more affordable to transport Canadian steel and lumber across this country by cutting freight rates.
This announcement comes after controversy over Carney's reaction to CBC News, asking when he last spoke to Trump.
Who cares? I mean, it's a detail. It's a detail.
That comment didn't sit well with Robert Mandel, whose steel company has had to lay off about 130 people since Trump's tariffs hit.
It struck me as being very tone deaf, being insensitive to the plight that not just the industry, but the employees in the industry.
His company makes steel pipes and tubes, including those used in the retractable roof at the Rogers Centre in Toronto. He's been calling on Carney to level the playing field for months.
It's an improvement, without question, over what they had initially agreed to do. We would still say we need more relief.
The forestry sector says more funding is welcome.
The focus now needs to be on execution, and that's the piece we'll be holding the government to account for.
Journalists again questioning Carney about his contact with the president.
This is the kind of thing I didn't want to get drawn into.
The Prime Minister says he doesn't want to talk about every little exchange, but confirmed he was in touch with Trump in the last 24 hours.
My exchange with the president yesterday was not newsworthy. I just responded to a question, wasn't newsworthy.
Carney says that he is in regular contact with Trump despite the fact that the U.S. called off trade talks, but that doesn't mean that every exchange is a substantive conversation.
And Ashley, the Prime Minister is expected to meet Trump, I gather, next week for the first time since the president called off those trade talks.
Yeah, Adrienne, the Prime Minister plans on traveling to Washington next week for the FIFA World Cup draw, and Carney expects to speak to Trump there, but he downplayed expectations. The Prime Minister said that what matters is negotiating with the U.S. to get relief for industries hit hard by tariffs, and so far the U.S. hasn't re-engaged to resume those talks.
All right, that's Ashley Burke in Ottawa tonight. Tomorrow, Mark Carney is expected to announce a new agreement with Alberta that includes a framework for a pipeline to BC, but the plan has put the Liberal caucus at odds. Kate McKenna shows us the work being done now to get everyone on board.
The Prime Minister walking into a meeting to reassure Liberal MPs about a potential pipeline deal alongside his Environment Minister.
We're not backtracking on the environment, and we ran a campaign on getting big things done. We'll wait till to see what the announcement is tomorrow.
On Thursday, Mark Carney is set to announce a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, with Alberta, set to include language about a potential pipeline through British Columbia.
What are your thoughts on this MOU? Any thoughts?
No, not yet. Earlier Wednesday morning, there was a special briefing for the 20 BC Liberals in the caucus.
I haven't seen the MOU.
The man behind that pitch was Mark Carney's trusted energy minister.
Minister, what did you tell the caucus?
We had a really good discussion.
But behind closed doors, one source says discussions were tense and candid. Publicly, Liberals showed a united front.
If we're talking about prosperity for the country, we all have to be united on all of these decisions.
There was a lot of information that was provided, and I think Canadians will be pleased.
Are you going to stay in caucus?
Questions, too, for former Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault. Sources say he's been in talks with the Prime Minister's office over his concerns about the government's compromises on environmental policies. Sources say, as of now, Guilbeault plans to stay in his job.
I'm blessed to be a member of a fantastic caucus.
The Prime Minister downplayed questions about caucus unity, saying the Alberta deal is about more than a pipeline.
It's about building this economy. It's about making Canada more independent. And it's about making Canada more sustainable.
Mark Carney is expected to sign the deal with Alberta Premier Danielle Smith on Thursday morning. Then the full details will be released. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
We have new information tonight shedding light on a tough decision for Ottawa. Stick with the American-made fighter jets or turn to a Swedish alternative. Radio-Canada has obtained a 2021 Defense Department review of both aircraft. As Murray Brewster shows us, only one came out on top.
Ottawa has been weighing the future of Canada's fighter jet fleet. Does it proceed with a plan to buy all US 88 F-35s, or does it just accept the 16 on order and pivot to the Swedish Gripen? We now have new insight into what the Air Force thinks. This internal technical evaluation obtained by our colleagues at Radio-Canada was written in 2021 as the Liberal government debated which jet to go with. It gave the F-35 a commanding 95% acceptability rating versus 33% for the Gripen. The Trudeau government in 2015 promised not to buy the F-35, but reversed course in 2022. This defense expert wonders whether the evaluation was the tipping point.
The F-35 was assessed as being much more capable than the alternative, and I don't think that that's fundamentally changed.
Critics, however, say a lot has changed in 5 years. In September, the U.S. Government Accountability Office reported the F-35's manufacturer, Lockheed Martin, was having trouble delivering the latest software update known as Block 4.
The F-35 Block 4 is the capability that most nations have signed a contract for, the F-35 Block 4. And they cannot achieve that Block 4 capability because of the persistent cost overruns and the production delays.
The Defense Department is aware of the software problem, but insists it will not impact the aircraft Canada will receive. Software, however, is the defining feature of all modern aircraft, determining functionality.
We have a new software update in the aircraft about every 10-14 days. I was put in the middle of this program to make sure that it became a fighter for war and not a product.
A decision on which fighter to select will be based on more than just capability, though. Jobs and economic benefits are part of the broader discussion. Murray Brewster, CBC News, Ottawa.
In 20 minutes, Murray is back with a deeper dive into the two jets and the many factors Canada is considering as it shapes the future of its fleet. Well, a Georgia judge has put an end to the last effort to hold Donald Trump accountable for trying to overturn the 2020 election, dismissing a racketeering case centered on an infamous phone call.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes.
That was Trump in January of 2021 urging Georgia's Secretary of State to find the votes necessary for him to win the state. Later, Trump and more than a dozen co-conspirators were indicted, but the case's prosecutor said he would not proceed, citing the difficulty of trying a case against a sitting president. Well, Trump celebrated the dismissal, saying law and justice have prevailed in a lengthy post on social media. Canada's weather warning system has a new look tonight.
It's more about what the weather will do and less about what the weather will be.
How new color-coded warnings aim to help you understand forecasts and prepare for the impact. Next. Plus, a treasure trove from a Canadian music icon.
There's pieces of sentimental history here. He held on to everything in his life.
Gordon Lightfoot memorabilia hits the auction block. And some cold plungers in BC get a shock they were not expecting.
This big California sea lion just came cruising in hot and came, 15 feet away from us.
We're back in 2. There is an ugly road ahead for millions of Thanksgiving travelers in the United States. An Arctic blast bringing some heavy snow and rain across the northern states, leading to crashes and forcing highway closures, while several major airports across the country brace for delays and cancellations. American Thanksgiving is typically the busiest travel weekend of the year. Well, that same system is expected to bring snow to parts of Ontario and Quebec, just as Environment Canada is changing the way it alerts Canadians to extreme weather. As Sam Sampson reports, they're now using color-coded cautions to convey risk.
When winter weather hits Canada, it's kind of obvious. Poor visibility, bad roads, you know how snow goes. Now, Environment Canada says it has a new system to help people prepare for all kinds of weather. It's color-coding the weather alerts on its website. Yellow, orange, and red will indicate the weather's severity, how long impacts could last, and how dangerous they could be, as well as how confident the weather agency is in the forecast.
It's more about what the weather will do and less about what the weather will be.
Environment Canada says because climate change is bringing severe weather more often, this new system will help Canadians weigh the risks.
The main pieces of feedback has been, how do we tell the difference between a weather alert that is something that is more of a nuisance versus something that is in extreme danger to life and property?
The system is being put to the test on day one. Parts of Ontario and Quebec are bracing for 30 to 60 centimeters of snow in a short amount of time. The new system shows an orange winter storm warning, meaning weather forecasters are confident the incoming snow will pack a punch for at least a few days. Yellow alerts will be the most common under the new system, while red will be rare. The agency says those are reserved for major incidents like the 2020 Snowmageddon in St. John's or the 2021 atmospheric river that flooded homes and damaged highways in BC. This researcher says the change signals the need for new forecasting systems that take climate change and frequent severe weather events into account.
We need to update our tools to be able to respond better, to better prepare communities, to better prepare households, to help us make better individual decisions.
Environment and Climate Change Canada acknowledges it may be confusing to understand the new system at first, since the old one was around for so long, but they say the whole point is to make it easier for Canadians to prepare for weather emergencies. Sam Sampson, CBC News, Edmonton.
Incidents of violent crime have been on the rise on transit systems across the country.
How many times did he stab you?
Over 10.
CBC's Visual Investigation Unit looks at the data behind the alarming trend. Plus, Canada is in the market for new fighter jets, and it's facing a pretty big choice.
The Gripen E was designed to be able to counter the new threats that was emerging.
You're absolutely King Kong in an F-35.
The Gripen versus the F-35. We break down the key selling points of each. And wildlife struck and killed on BC train tracks.
There's a problem on our railways. People have to know that this is happening.
The researchers tracking the problem and looking for solutions. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next. Fans got a rare glimpse today into the life of one of this country's most celebrated musicians. Hundreds of personal items from the estate of Gordon Lightfoot hit the auction block. And as Magda Gabrisalasa tells us, bidders were eager to own a piece of Canadian music history.
Gordon Lightfoot lived a legendary life full of tales, musical milestones, and memorabilia. Some of those prized possessions now going to the highest bidders.
There are objects, there's pieces of sentimental history here. He held on to everything in his life.
More than 300 items were on the block at this Toronto auction house. They were personal, like childhood school books and furniture, professional, like costumes, guitars, and awards, and several were tied to famous faces, from contracts with Johnny Cash to a note from Bob Dylan.
These are documents.
Items tied to the sinking of the Great Lakes freighter, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, were also up for auction. The tragedy inspired one of Lightfoot's best-known songs, Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. In all, more than 2,000 bidders showed up online, and dozens came in person like this fan.
Gordon meant the world to me. His songs were meaningful.
It's his tune.
Even Blue Rodeo guitarist Colin Cripps was among the bidders.
It was a bit bittersweet because obviously he's a man that I was lucky enough to have a few moments with over the years.
$200 on these early.
The auction proved to be a hit, taking in more than $800,000. This guitar alone, which Lightfoot played for years, sold for more than $300K. Musician Julian Taylor understands the draw to hold on to a piece of Lightfoot's legacy.
He was an incredible lyricist, and those lyrics really touched people's souls.
The money raised will be going to the estate. Its trustees say they hope to donate items to the Museum of Art and History in Lightfoot's hometown of Aurelia, Ontario,
The snow is softly falling.
where there's an ongoing exhibition on Lightfoot. Magda Gabriel-Salas, CBC News, Toronto.
I hear your voice.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. Seasoned pilots size up Canada's fighter jet choices.
You're absolutely King Kong in an F-35.
But first, today's stabbing of a Toronto transit worker punctuates our findings. Violence has surged on Canada's major metros. CBC News teamed up with the Investigative Journalism Foundation to get you the hard facts. Eric Cito lays them out.
Let's talk about transit violence.
Holy sh**.
It seems like everyone has a story. Some cities say it's actually getting better and that investments in safety, security, and cleanliness were clearly paying off, and that safety is improving. But what do the numbers say? We partner with the Investigative Journalism Foundation, analyze thousands of incidents, and review and verify videos. To reveal, in the past 9 years, violent crime on transit has more than doubled in most of Canada's biggest metros. How many times did he stab you?
Over 10, 13 maybe. I'm pretty sure I did, this close to dying on the subway floor.
Watch how it starts. This is bystander video. That's Derek Dykoff in the blue shorts on the right. He says he's asking the man behind him to turn down his music.
But he just wasn't having it, so it escalated.
Here we go. First punch there. But something led to that punch, right?
Yeah, him reaching in his pocket.
It's not clear exactly what's happening. Derek says the guy pulls out a knife.
Yeah, he just tried to stab me right in my throat there.
I see blood already, right in your side there. In your shirt?
Yeah.
When we zoom in, you can see the knife. He chases Derek down the subway car.
I could die. I don't want to die.
He's getting him! He's stepping up!
My blood was everywhere.
This all happened during the day on that Toronto subway train.
He chopped my forearm in half. I don't know if you could see that scar there.
This happened in the summer of 2023. We want to know whether incidents like this were just a blip post-COVID or a general trend.
My wife is pregnant!
We go through incident data from FOIs and StatsCan data on transit violence across the country, then have researchers at Toronto Metropolitan University analyze it.
I've been writing about public transit and its ridership and whatnot for decades. The violent crime rate in general has gone up, or crimes have gone up, but more so on public transit.
Let's break this down. You can see the spike of violent incidents start in 2020, topping out in 2023. But if we back up before that, since 2016, transit violence has more than doubled in most of Canada's biggest metro areas. I would expect that if the pandemic's over, ridership's higher, incident rates, it would actually be going back down to pre-2016, 2015 levels, but we're not seeing that.
It hasn't gone down to pre-pandemic levels in most cases, with the exception of Vancouver. There's a greater need for cities and provinces to coordinate and improving safety on transit property and vehicles.
In Metro Toronto, for example, more than 120% increase in violent crimes, 160% for assaults. If we zero in on the Toronto Transit Commission, or TTC, the FOI data shows a big surge in assaults in 2020 that leveled off in 2023. But it's still higher than 2018. Knowing those rates, should riders feel assured?
That's not reassuring. The results that you're sharing are quite striking today because that is borne out in the data. I think that it would be in keeping with how people feel about the TTC, because we all, as customers, as Torontonians, see that type of antisocial or criminal behavior on a day-to-day commute.
She just hit him again.
We share our findings with the TTC, and by their own metrics, incidents have gone down recently. But they say rates of violence are higher than pre-pandemic because there's more reporting now, adding by any objective measure, the TTC is safe. Transit is such an emotionally charged issue for so many people. Why is it so emotionally charged?
There are very few instances where we are forced to share space with others. Public transit is one such time and place when you are in a crowded bus or a subway. You don't have that agency with you anymore when you can't tell anyone to, step away. That creates a sense of vulnerability.
In Derek's case, Toronto police said once the train stopped, the suspect fled. He was arrested a short time later. The case is still before the courts. You must be still pretty messed up from what happened.
I got some injuries that are going to be lifelong.
Do you still ride the TTC?
If I have to, I will. What can I do, What am I going to do, not ride it? I got to get places.
So just today, Toronto Police and Mayor Olivia Chow announced, Adrian, they're adding more dedicated officers to the city's subway line.
Eric, have you been able to sort out exactly why it is there's more violence?
Yeah, a lot of people are pointing to the unhoused population on transit, and that's kind of a false narrative, according to what researchers say. They say that they're more vulnerable, they're more likely to be victims of violent crime, and it's actually high system users, what one expert told us that's leading to this spike. A small number of people leading to a big number of offenses.
Okay, I'm sure there's more to come. Eric Cito, thank you.
Thank you.
Canada has a very big choice to make. Stick with the F-35 as its only fighter jet or diversify its new fleet by adding Sweden's Gripen. Murray Brewster talked to pilots for the view from the cockpit.
There's been a lot of noise in the debate over Canada's future fighter jet. Lost somewhere in the spin and posturing over jobs and trade are important questions about what each aircraft can do and why. We asked the experts, 2 test pilots, to give us their take, and a former senior Air Force commander. The F-35 is, hands down, the warplane Canada's Air Force wants.
Is it fun to fly?
Yeah, it's a data-gathering spaceship. It goes 1.6 times the speed of sound. It pulls 9G and it slows down and can spiral around down like you see in an air show. You're absolutely King Kong in an F-35.
Tell me what it's like to fly this plane.
Sweet. It really carves through the sky. And it's very tight in the controls, so it feels like you are flying. It doesn't feel like you're in an aircraft that's flying. It feels like you are flying.
The first distinction between the two planes. Think of the F-35 as a supercomputer with wings, gathering battlefield information and sharing it securely.
I'm going to make the contrast between you dialing in on your hotel Wi-Fi, open Wi-Fi that can be hacked, versus dialing in on a VPN system where you cannot be hacked. And the comparison is going to be that an F-35 has the equivalent of a VPN network to pass information amongst the F-35s from any nation that flies it, versus the open architecture.
The F-35 is billed as a 5th generation fighter.
A 5th generation means low observability and sensor fusion, 2 major characteristics. I can travel in and get undetected entering enemy airspace, and I can see everything around me.
The Gripen is a very different aircraft from nose to tail. Living on Russia's doorstep, Sweden built the Gripen to be tough and flexible.
We are under threat the second we take off.
Where the F-35 is meant to take the fight to the enemy, The Gripen's strength is defending home skies.
One thing that's very important for us is to have a possibility to spread out in the woods and work with a very low logistical footprint. So using few personnel and quickly turn around the aircraft and swap engines fast, get new weapons fast, refuel fast, and then get airborne again.
The F-35 requires constant specialized maintenance because of its stealth skin. So, how important is stealth?
It's not perfectly invisible, but essentially in the air, it effectively is as big as a wiffle ball like this or even smaller.
Even so, both China and Russia have low-frequency radar that can detect stealth aircraft. The Gripen, by contrast, focuses more on jamming enemy radar with state-of-the-art electronic warfare.
So when we started with the Gripen E, we had a choice of which technology to use to ensure that survivability, and we went all in on the EW, which right now seems to have been the right choice.
When Canada's Air Force did its own comparison in 2021, the F-35 won every category hands down except one. But that was almost 5 years ago. The F-35 software is delivered in blocks. Block 4 is the next iteration. It is supposed to deliver many of the advanced features that Canada and other allies want, the kind of capabilities that make the F-35 a cut above the rest. However, this U.S. Government Accountability Office report raises questions about whether Lockheed Martin can actually deliver the software upgrade that was advertised.
Now, this is going to have a significant impact on the countries that are, due to receive this aircraft, mainly in the area of weapons employment, sensor fusion, self-protection, and networking.
And then there's the issue of availability. How often is each aircraft ready and not in the shop? The F-35's service availability rate has been around 50%. Swedish Air Force data on the availability of the Gripen fleet is classified, but it is acknowledged among Air Force officers to be much higher than the F-35.
The Gripen, on the other hand, operates roughly about 70 to 80%.
So if you want stealth, intelligence gathering, and a jet for high-end warfare, the F-35 wins. But if you want affordability, agility, and the ability to operate from almost anywhere, the Gripen E wins. So if it came down to an old-fashioned aerial dogfight, F-35 versus the Gripen, who wins?
It would be a toss-up, Marie. It depends on the pilot. It's not the airplane, it's the pilot.
So many factors are at play in this decision. Canada is also considering the jobs and the economic spin-offs that would come with either choice, as well as the military's opinion on which aircraft more closely meets its needs. Well, up next, how to stop the bloodshed when so many grizzlies are killed by collisions.
The number one contributor to mortality for wildlife on the rail is train speed.
Why some are so determined to save lives in the wild. How wildlife fall prey to death by railway.
People have to know that this is happening.
It happens out of sight, but the toll is being noticed.
It just feels like an unacceptable number.
CBC News produced this story in partnership with journalists at the Narwhal. Jackie McKay has the results of their investigation.
We're following Clayton to get to a spot where the bear has died.
Most people never see it. Wildlife regularly hit by trains on BC tracks. Finding out the exact number of collisions is no easy task.
I think the bear was on one end of the bridge and probably got pushed onto the bridge and then sort of panicked with her cubs and then got struck right on the bridge.
So it's down here at Clayton, that way you found them?
Yeah, so this is where the 3 cubs were found. They were kind of scattered out under the bridge here, and then Mom actually, I think she probably ended up on the front of the train and ended up down on the next corner there. Yeah, all 4 grizzly bears are kind of within a couple hundred meters here.
Wildlife scientist Clayton Lamb has collared over 100 grizzly bears here in the Elk Valley in southeastern BC.
Yeah, so both of these collars were actually on grizzly bears that were killed on the railway. You know, pretty severe collisions that happen with these these grizzly bears in the train.
A disproportionate amount of grizzlies were dying in the area, and he wanted to know why, to learn how to help.
One thing that we know is that about half of their mortalities are due to road and rail collisions.
Lamb says that stat is significant, and he's not alone. For years, retired locomotive engineer Jim Atkinson and his wife Judy have been trying to sound the alarm, collecting hundreds of pages of documents and taking their own photos as evidence.
There's a problem out there. There's a problem on our railways. And people have to know that this is happening.
Journalists at the Narwhal filed Freedom of Information requests to the BC government and shared the responses with CBC News. Data shows that CN reported at least 340 wildlife collision incidents between 2020 and 2023. CPKC's data is less detailed. It shows at least 182 animals were hit on the company's tracks in the Kootenays between 2022 and 2023.
It just feels like an unacceptable number.
Lamb says often animals are on the tracks because they are the easiest path to use through thick bush, or they come to eat the grain that is leaked from passing rail cars.
There's kind of this unfortunate cycle where something like an elk or a deer will get hit, and then a predator will come and predate on that kill, and then the predator will get hit.
Lamb says animals most often bolt straight down the tracks to escape a train, thinking they can outrun it.
The number one contributor to mortality for wildlife on the rail is train speed.
Colleen St. Clair says trains could slow down through areas where animals are hit the most.
That would be a manageable expense relative to, say, erecting fencing and crossing structures.
St. Clair also worked on a pilot project in Banff with this warning device. It found that large animals left the tracks 6 seconds earlier.
That 6 seconds could easily make the difference between being struck by a train or not.
After the pilot project, the device stopped being used. Neither CN nor CPKC explained why. St. Clair believes it doesn't work with the company's bottom lines. The railway companies did not answer a number of CBC News' questions. In a statement, CPKC told CBC it prioritizes practical mitigation strategies. CN told CBC in a statement that the company is actively evaluating a range of detection, monitoring, and mitigation technologies.
Yeah, these are all grizzly bears.
At the foot of the mountains, Lamb keeps an eye on his bears.
It's not about trying to end railways or, get rid of trains. It's about how do we live sort of in harmony with this place where we can still transport goods and not run over animals in these pretty iconic biodiverse places.
He keeps researching with the hope that his work will make people in power pay attention and get the problem on track.
Earlier this year, a major railway reached a deal with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service aimed at reducing grizzly deaths at a Montana national park. The railway committed to quickly cleaning up spills of grain and other food and to pay for fencing around some rail beds. Well, coming up, a sea lion startles some cold plungers in Victoria, BC.
He jumped at us. It was like the ocean's version of that flinch punch. It was just yo, he's get out of here.
Their very, very close encounter next in our moment. This is the moment two cold plungers came just a little too close for comfort with a very large sea lion who lunged towards them in the water off of Victoria, BC. So the pair were taking their regular morning dip, as they do, when things escalated quickly. That close encounter, that's our moment.
Oh my God. Oh my God!
This big California sea lion just came cruising in hot. 15 feet away from us. I was kind of backing out and he was like, no, it's fine. Come on. It's okay. He's just a puppy. You could just see him kind of come forward and then he just lunged.
Oh my God. Oh my God!
It very much wasn't fine. I didn't have any fear in the moment that he was going to hurt us, but they do get a little bit territorial. He just stared at us and swam around and just didn't lose eye contact. I was kind of like, okay, He's not playful. By then, Andrew's like beelining it out of there.
I'm more of a land person, and being in the water on this guy's turf, he's got the home field advantage. When he like jumped at us, it was like the ocean's version of like that flinch punch. It was just like, yo, he's like, get out of here.
He was just like, I don't want you here anymore. We listened and we left very peacefully and or frantically.
It's definitely something that I'll never forget.
Getting out of that water, excellent call. No mistaking that territorial move. Sea lions, super territorial, very clear message. This is my turf. Find another patch of the Pacific. From all of us at the National, thank you for being with us. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.